Why is China investing billions of yuan in Xinjiang's transport?
An average Westerner knows so little about Xinjiang. There's no place even to start it, because most of them know Xinjiang because a lie that about Xinjiang genocide.
Hello amazing viewer, delighted to have you once more at Comfort for Life. I bring to you compilations of TikTok and Red Note videos for educational purposes. If you are new here, consider subscribing, and to my returning viewers, I love and appreciate you. Thank you so much for keeping it up here. You guys are the real MVP. In this compilation, we are going to stay away from propagandas, because I've noticed that propagandas are meant to kind of blind us from what people are doing, the actual work that countries are doing. If you love what you're seeing on your screen right there, why don't you travel to Xinjiang? Let's look at the real Xinjiang and the projects going on there.
I just came back from Xinjiang, and if there's one thing I'm most thankful for and stunned by, it's the region's transportation infrastructure. Because you don't really grasp how big Xinjiang is until you try to cross it yourself. I covered at least 2,500 kilometers by expressway, by train, by regional flights. Some of these journeys weren't even possible a few years ago. So I want to share with you how I traveled and what it would have been like without the infrastructure. So my first stop was Urumqi. The airport, by the way, was super modern. It was upgraded just this year. The floor is as reflective as a mirror. I went on several day trips out of Urumqi. At one point, we drove along the start of an expressway that stretches all the way to southern Xinjiang. It tunnels through the Tian Shan mountain range. Can you imagine that? China has built the world's longest expressway tunnel there. Just on the short stretch that I traveled, the road shaved off half an hour of driving. Once the expressway is completed, the full route will cut the trip from Urumqi to Korla in southern Xinjiang from 7 hours to just around 3. This means you can technically live in Korla and commute to the regional capital, which I think is pretty amazing. Okay, so then I flew from Urumqi to Ruoqiang. The airport in Ruoqiang has only been open for 7 years. Before that, you will be looking at a 14-hour drive. Actually, when I was booking the ticket, I was surprised to find that Xinjiang has 28 civil aviation airports, the largest number out of all of China's province-level regions. So now we have moved to southern Xinjiang. I first boarded a 3-hour train from Ruoqiang to Chiemo, and then a 14-hour sleeper from Chiemo to Kashgar. And neither was possible 5 years ago. Why? This line is part of a, get this, 2,700 kilometer railway loop encircling the Taklamakan Desert. It was completed in 2022. By car, the same Ruoqiang to Kashgar journey would have also taken around 17 to 19 hours, but you have to split it over 3 days, plus you'd have to pay for hotels and definitely over 1,000 yuan in fuel and tolls. My train ticket, meanwhile, was just 280 yuan. That's less than $40. The reason I'm sharing all this is because many people often imagine Xinjiang as some remote place that you can only experience through endless road tripping. It's beautiful, but at the same time, it's also very time-consuming and it's a lot of money. And my journey has proved otherwise. And to think that I was just a visitor. For local people, these airports, the trains, the highways, they mean easier commutes to work, faster access to your family, cheaper transports of goods. That's why I think China invests billions. It's because they want to bring a region that's so vast closer together.
This really surprised me. In China, rich areas are officially paired with poor areas, and they keep helping each other for decades. So I'm here in Aksu. It's a remote city in Xinjiang province, western China. Their partner is Zhejiang province. It's a rich province in China's east coast. And since the mid-1980s, Zhejiang has been sending money, experts, and technology here every single year. They work together on almost everything, building schools, hospitals, training doctors and teachers, and selling local farm products online, building roads, and teaching new tech skills. So here, local told me that in January last year, a big earthquake hit. Old mud houses collapsed, but the new brick houses built with government help stayed standing, and they will provide with new brick houses for free. And it's not one way. Aksu also sent young people to Zhejiang province to learn advanced skills and they come back and use them here. I feel like this is a very smart way to grow together. It's not letting rich places get richer and while others are left behind, but it is sharing resources to everyone has a better life. This is the edge of China's biggest desert and is turning into a power plant. Welcome to Xinjiang's new energy revolution, where sunlight is being turned into electricity for hundreds and thousands of homes. So we're now here in Aksu City in Xinjiang. Here, more than half of the grid's power now comes from solar. And that is over 4,800 megawatts, enough to supply nearly 430,000 people for a year. And also, that is enough to power a small country. And just nearby, this is China's largest single grid forming energy storage facility. That means with a full charge, the station can meet the daily electricity needs about 300,000 households, and it costs around 390,000 tons of carbon dioxide compared to coal power. And there's much more. These panels don't just make and store energy, they're also stopping desert from spreading. So beneath the PV panels, grass grids block the sun, and around them, deserts, forests take root. So from the Gobi to the Taklamakan Desert, Xinjiang is building a cleaner, greener future, one panel at a time. Do you think desert everywhere can be turned into a power plant? Drop your thoughts in the comments.
These are one of the dozens of concentration camps in Xinjiang. And if we pan over just a little bit to the left side, we can see the prisons already. No, I'm just joking. It's just one of the gated communities that you find all over the place in China. And this huge district over there is actually a business district for car parts. And it is really important to put all these images and news out there into context to fully understand them. And what's really weird is that the West doesn't really care about Muslims and they don't care about Chinese, but yet they are really caring about Chinese Muslims. And just for context, China has 56 ethnicities and 10 of them are actually Muslims. And Xinjiang is a very strategic area in Central Asia with lots of resources. So it kind of makes sense to do a smear campaign there.
Uyghur genocide. And other than that, they know nothing about Xinjiang. That's just sad because Xinjiang was a place, it's really a melting pot. Uyghur is not the first group of people there. In fact, Han people from China are there before Uyghur. There's Mongolian people there, Tibetan people there, but Han people was kind of the constant there. And there's a project that's still in Xinjiang that can prove it. If you know anything about Xinjiang or anything about China, there's 3 major ancient civil project that people are proud of. The top 3 project. You know the top one, the Great Wall of China, okay? Most people don't know the top 2. It's the Great Canal of China. 1,000 miles long canal that connect Beijing and Hangzhou that still operate today, which was built about 2,000 years ago. Anyway, the third one nobody knows about. Okay, it's called Kangejing. It's a kind of well that only found in Xinjiang, because in Xinjiang there's a mountain huge called Tianshan. We call it mountain of sky. That's how high it is. So when it's so high, snow on the top, on the bottom, desert. Most places in Xinjiang are desert, okay? But where does the water go, okay? The snow, it goes inside, deep inside the ground, because it just sits into the ground. And when you try to dig a well, it's very hard because one layer of the ground is pretty much rock. Very hard to access it. So people live in the plain area, no water. The more water is deep inside the ground or at the top of the mountain. So at least 2,000 years ago, maybe 1,000, I can't remember very wrong. Han Dynasty, okay? So 1,500 people find out a way. Okay, mostly Han people. It's Han Dynasty anyway. Okay, so you can access the water the most easily when you are by the mountain. When you dig deep enough, you can reach the water when you are close to the mountain. But people don't live there. The people live far away, this desert. So, but you can dig a well there, and then in the shallow ground, you can dig an inside tunnel, internal tunnel, channel the water to the place that people live. And when it gets to the people live, it goes out of the underground. So this way, the water pressure from the mountain is actually pushed the water endlessly to faraway village. That's why Xinjiang has all these people live there, because that great invention. I will find a picture to show you. And how do we know so much about that? It's actually in Qing Dynasty, when the general Cao, you all taste General Tso's chicken, but you didn't know that he's instrumental to protect Xinjiang for Qing Dynasty, because Russian was invading Xinjiang, and it's General Dao that fight there at least 10 years to get Xinjiang peace. I think in the last battle, he famously bring the coffin with him because he's getting old and it's dangerous. He said, I'm not thinking of coming back. This is my coffin. This is my army. When we win, everybody get chicken. So he's famous. But he's famous also by recording this particularly well. He write it down. And he planted a lot of trees that's still there in Xinjiang today. It's called a 左公柳. It's a willow of General Dao. Still in Xinjiang this day. There's probably more willow in Xinjiang than named after General Dao, or as many as the chicken that's named after General Dao. Anyway, you Westerners know so little about Xinjiang. All they know about Xinjiang is a lie. That is so sad.
Do you know why the US wants to separate Xinjiang from the rest of China? Because Xinjiang's location is way too important geopolitically. So here, China can bring something to the entire Eurasia that some US politicians scare the most: peace. Let me explain why. First, Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, located in northwest of China, connects China with Central Asia. Xinjiang shares borders with 8 countries: Mongolia, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India. Xinjiang wasn't just a key hub in the Asian Silk Road, it's also a key gate for the current Belt and Road Initiative to expand westwards. It will connect East Asia, Central Asia, West Asia, and Europe. This is the region that the US government and several Western countries have been spending billions of dollars in the past decades to sponsor terrorism, wars, and instabilities. The textbook divide and conquer strategy. Because Eurasia is too big. If they unite, they will be too strong. And that is threatening for the US to maintain its exceptional position in the world. In other words, hegemony over the world. However, China's Belt and Road Initiative are bringing infrastructure and economic development to this region. China-Europe railways go through here. Billions of dollars of trades taking place at the ports in Xinjiang. And this economic development will raise the living standards of people living in this region. And when people are much better off, there will be no reason to participate in wars and terrorism. So the US came out with a plan. how about we support separatism and divide Xinjiang from China? In the 1990s, this political analyst named Graham E. Fuller, who served both in the National Intelligence Council and CIA, wrote a report called The Xinjiang Problem. In this report, he was teaching his fellow politicians and scholars how to play the Uyghur card and stoke separatism among Uyghurs to destabilize and contain China. If you don't believe my words, how about listening to the words of retired U.S. Army Colonel Lauren B. Wilkerson himself? He used to serve as the Chief of Staff to the U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell. Unfortunately for the U.S., their plan to separate China is failing. All 56 ethnic groups in China will love and support each other. We unite and hold on to each other like pomegranate seeds. And we will unite with the rest of the world to build a community with a shared future for all mankind.
Guys, if you can please answer this. Yeah. Is there a possibility for a country to just focus on its own problems, like to just focus on their own country? Yes, you tried, you do what you can, but at some point I was like, yeah, why is that China is so powerful but it's not kind of interfering with other countries' political issues to try and help, you know? But with time, I'm starting to understand that it could be the best thing to do. If there's something bothering you, fight for your freedom. Just do your own thing. But politically, we stay away. I never understood that. But the more I am following about how interfering with countries matters, kind of work and affect people, I'm getting to say it's not important. Guys, focus on your business. Stay on your line. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know how the world order works. I don't know who sets the rules for the world, who sets how things should go, and why you should follow them as well. Anyway, there are questions. Yeah, doubts was it about this compilation? Kindly like the video for recommendation, subscribe if you're new here. Also, do not hesitate to leave your thoughts in the comment section. I really want to hear from you. I hope we've learned the real Xinjiang. Goodbye for now.